super important marathon. And I ended up heading out early June, and I had some sleepless nights, not as much from nerves, but from jet lag. And unfortunately did not touch a pint of Guinness until, unfortunately, until after the race. So I was being very respectful for the race. But got to the start line, hadn't slept for 4 or 5 days, and I was wearing my USA flag shorts. I had a very tough decision the night before, which was, do I go for the 2.5 inseam or the 1.5 inseam? And suddenly it became clear that it was 1.5 inseam had to be the way to go. And I actually was planning to wear a hat for the race because it was very sunny the day of the race. And I had brought a USA headband as well. And I went to the start line with the hat, like, this is the smart decision, it'll protect me from the sun, I won't have any issues seeing. And with 5 minutes before the gun went off, I was like, no, I gotta be representing the US. Ran back up to my hotel room, sprinted back to the hotel room, grabbed my headband, and started the race with that, sorry. And I think it made a difference. But it was an amazing experience. The council over there, be prepared the day before the race with the ensemble of athletes that had come out from Wales, Germany, all over Europe. They took us to the first thing in the morning at 10:30 in the morning. Took us to the Jameson Distillery the day before the race. So I don't know what's planned for non-racers when you guys go there, but be careful. And then had lunch where we had a couple pints of Beamish, which is, in my opinion, better than Guinness. But I kind of was like, okay, it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I have a bit of a buzz. I have to race in 12 hours. It's probably not the best prep. Anyways, back to the race. I was fully decked out in USA gear. And somebody turns to me at the start line and goes, hey man, there's a really fast runner in this race, be careful, he's a local. And this guy named Alan was right next to me. I was like, okay, he looks pretty legit. And he was about 6 inches shorter than me, which always upsets me because I'm like, he's probably carrying 50 pounds less than me during this race. This is totally not fair. And this guy takes off and he's running 5:15 miles, which is 30 seconds faster than I had any intention of running. When we looked up the race, you know, a couple months ago, I had seen the winning times. I was like, okay, this will be a walk in the park. It'll be pretty easy. But this guy was not going to make it an easy day for us. And every single person in the crowds, and there was very large crowds, was cheering, "Go Alan, you're doing it, go Alan!" And they would see me and just start, you know, shaking their fists. And all I heard a couple go USAs, but mostly it was, "Oh, Donald, oh, Donald." Probably not the right place to get political, but all I could say was, "Yeah, I love my president," and just keep running. But basically, there was a lot of animosity towards me, and not the greatest experience for the first half marathon until this guy dropped me, and I ended up running for the next 10 miles by myself. But all I could think was, I am representing the city of San Francisco. I gotta figure out a way to win. And it may have helped that the cyclist who was running, biking alongside me, kind of guiding me, said, "Oh, don't worry about Alan, he always blows up at the 20-mile mark." And I had a hard time believing it, but right around mile 20, Alan sure as heck blew up. And he ended up finishing well back in the field, so I'm sorry, Alan, about that, but he definitely pushed me really hard. I actually was saved by this 6-year-old who gave me some Haribo candies at about mile 19, these gummy bears, because I had run out of goos, I didn't have any energy left, and he gave me these candies, and it kind of brought me back to life, and ended up, what was in the candy? I wasn't tested afterwards. The moral of the story was, I went in with really high expectations of winning this race. I expected it to be an easy day. It was far from an easy day. I got pushed the entire time, ran much faster than I intended. Actually had a really big 100-miler a couple weeks later, and don't think I was as prepared for it, recovered for it as I was expecting because I had run so hard in Cork, but was so happy and excited by that experience. After the race, every single person came up to me and was super friendly and welcoming. I got a free latte at a coffee bar, which I've never had before. And then some bar owner on Facebook messaged me. He was like, "Oh, come over for a free drink." And it turns out free drink in Irish is actually a Jameson and a Guinness together, and several rounds of that. So that was an experience. So again, prepare your livers before this trip. So anyways, going back to the march and being here to begin with, sorry I'm going on for a while, but there's something motivational and inspiring at the end of this. So the mayor mentioned, you know, February 17th I quit my job to focus full-time on running. I had a very nice job at Square. We had just IPO'd, the stock was doing pretty well. I was getting paid a decent salary, and I was like, you know what? That's not really for me. Making money is not really for me. I'm gonna do this running thing where I enter races to win $100 or a free pair of shoes, which probably, you run 50 miles to win $100, like, oh, maybe, is that as good as a typical job? Probably not. But I followed my passion, and most of what I was doing was trail running, but Dan sent me this email about running this Cork City Marathon, and at the time I was convinced that I had to say yes to everything, and I was like, this doesn't fit into my training plan. This is going to be a lot of travel. It's going to be hard on the roads. I'm probably not going to even be prepared for it, but I wanted to say yes to everything. And I think that's the biggest lesson that I can take out of this, is that this wasn't the thing that I was expecting to be the biggest highlight of my first 4 months out of the tech community, but it is actually the greatest experience I had. So say yes to everything, quit your job today, move into the basement of your friend's apartment. I was very nervous. Matthew emailed me beforehand. I technically am currently a Mill Valley resident because I can no longer, it's harder to pay rent in San Francisco when you don't have a job. So if there's any, you know, apartments, just, if you'd like to kick some people out of there, I'd love the place in the city, but I'll be back soon. It was an amazing honor to represent the city, and yeah, that's all I've got today. Sorry, this wasn't as... I had a lot more jokes planned. I had them written down.